King. The American election is resolved, and now we're about to deal with the feedback of it. This event will send shock waves throughout the world, and so I have to guess at what will occur, and it is guessing games, but you know what? I have eschatology, I have my theories, so let's see if I can predict things. 1. Although we never want to get ahead of ourselves, I thought that Trump was headed for re-election, but then I thought he would win in a landslide. I did not, that is 4 years ago, I did not estimate that Joe Biden would miraculously get 14 million more votes than he should have. But then, I think I just didn't quite grasp the depth of deviousness that the devils and how far the world has fallen. 2. While there is a rejoicing at the matter, I am not rejoicing. It's not that I want or don't want things to happen. I want the world to repent and to believe the good news. But several others just want to win and to be held on a pedestal and to ridicule their opposition. This is not a time for sleep or ridicule. It is a time to pray with double the effort because we're about to face the fire. 3. One of the major devices that will send shockwaves throughout the world is RFK Jr., Robert Francis Kennedy Jr.'s appointment to the health sector of the U.S. The U.S. is home to several big corporations, big beasts, big pharma we will call them, and those beasts have a working stranglehold on things. RFK Jr. will present to them several obstacles. Now, when I say they have a stranglehold, these beasts, it means they have a lot of marketing money. They spend or wrapped up into government lobby. Because in their diabolical prudence, they're going to buy a positive opinion with their surplus and enforce friendly policy. A man that is going to enforce unfriendly policy is going to cause them to start using that surplus cash they use for expansion on getting rid of him, preventing him from operating and canceling everything he's going to try to do. That means if they own vaccines and he opposes many vaccines, they're going to have some tricks up their sleeves in terms of propaganda and in terms of, well, trying to push vaccine-friendly narratives onto the world. 4. One of those tricks may involve biological warfare, because sickness is big business. They may well want to cause big sickness to make big business in order to reap big benefits when they put out the serum to treat, quote-unquote treat big sickness, not to cure it. This is why we saw such a vitriolic campaign in the public against the use of ivermectin, which was a cheap drug they could not profit from. We know well that the propaganda machine against ivermectin was funded by those big bodies in a coalition. 5. What that means to us is that we may well expect to see some new sicknesses in the next coming years. Luz de Maria has messages about the matter, so she sees it coming as well. And other Catholic mystics have alluded to coming plagues. The funny thing is that these plagues may well come from these big, angry, big pharma companies, or they may well come from God, who decides to say, "Oh, you think COVID was a sickness? I will show you a plague." And whatever the case is, and remember that God punishes with the sword, with famine, and with pestilence. Whatever the case is, these plagues will spread throughout the globe. This is why this concerns us. Even if these big pharma companies did not spread plagues, God may certainly use it as an instrument of punishment. 6. From what I've been told, it'll be handy to know tonics and teas that are heavy in antioxidants and vitamin C. I've not tested much of this, but it merits research. One thing I have looked into is the use of hawthorn leaves as a tea. I know that pine needles can be used as tea as well, but again, this requires a lot of research. Ask the people who know. I've only dipped my toes in these waters. 7. If Trump addresses voter standards, the face of politics will change in the United States. That is, if his government can push the use of requiring ID to vote. The rest of the world will again not go so quietly, even though in most countries we need ID to vote, including the one I live in. I have a feeling that we're going to see in the next 3 years the formation of a coalition of nations to try to counter the coalition developing between Russia, China, Brazil, India, South Africa, and they call these the BRICS countries, the BRICS coalition. 8. Evil never sleeps, and I do believe that the Antichrist is alive today, but not yet fully manifest, and is still moving pieces about. He can only come into power if the world is spiritually asleep, so that he can become their dominating nightmare. I expect that it will be a technological advance that gets exploited, something involving AI. Because we never know when a weapon can turn the tide of a war, like a nuclear weapon. However, this weapon will be even more sophisticated. 9. Optimism, therefore, is a form of sleep that will be put on us if we aren't vigilant. This is a time for greater vigilance than we've ever had. Greater vigilance is living a holy life with prayer and fasting. I personally have gone to 10 decades of the rosary every day. I hope everyone increases gradually in prayer more than I did. 10. Russia's situation with the world is bound to change a little with Trump coming into power, but it may be lagged due to the non-negotiables we don't yet know about, and due to the fact that the deep state is going to try to sabotage Trump's presidency as much as possible. I do not expect Russia and Ukraine situation to die down immediately. I don't expect it to, that is. 11. Keep an eye on Israel. It is always plotting. It always knows how to garner favor towards its plot if the favor doesn't directly favor them. They've been encroaching Palestine subtly since 1948. Do not expect that to stop anytime soon, and even should they gain all of Palestine, do not expect them to stop there. Remember that these people feel like they have destiny and God on their side. 12. The pretext for the reign of Antichrist will have a lot to do with the economy, which means that over the coming decade, expect things to get harder, inflation to rise, and land harder and harder to attain. This is not being currently addressed in our economic state, although we see it becoming a problem. The war on oil has done a lot to wound the economy, but not done enough to cripple it. I expect the economy is going to get crippled. A new biological weapon against society may well contribute to that. 13. As for whether all of this is imminent, yes, we are in a stage that Art Bell used to refer to as the quickening. It's all hurrying up. Demonic possessions are on the rise. Generations are getting increasingly corrupted. Younger people are more degenerate than they've ever been. It's a sign of great spiritual sickness that has taken us on. Such things are not solved with politics. Politics are merely the temperature in the water, not the cause of them. 14. By grassroots does everything change. When men of like-mindedness come together and form active groups that can practice the faith and unite on sound doctrine and create representation on a larger social scale, that causes powerful influence. We want big light, we need to make big fires. 15. For example, we have a Mary movie coming out on Netflix, and even before it's released, I can already assert that it will be deceptive and heretical because ecumenism has caused the watering down of doctrine. We need powerful and faithful Catholics to get involved into productions and to honor not only the New Testament, but to honor the visions of mystics. When we have this, we will give the world Mary as it has never seen her before, in all her splendor and beauty. Your kingdom, my king, it will shine her undiluted light upon the world. 16. Next year, I expect the aristocrats and shadow governments are going to try to cause economic damage in as much of it as possible. So just because Trump got elected, we cannot expect the economy will change immediately. Maybe in the US it will rise, in the rest of the world it will probably fall. 17. I also expect that the situation between Ukraine and Russia will start to resolve itself peacefully as NATO is starting to crumble, which will be a situation that attempts to cure itself in 2 years when people come together to create a new federal state more powerful than the European Union was, and will become emboldened as such because of the formation of the Brazil, China, Russia, India, South Africa coalition. 18. Naturally, there are some things I will be on about and some things I will be off about. I will be wrong, that is, about, because I don't see everything. My purview is limited, but economic warfare is imminent. Of that I am certain. Real war tends to be a manifestation of desperation. If desperation is executed on purpose, then we can predict the efforts towards creating desperation or hysteria. But the resolve of what is imminent, that is real war, can take from 3 months to 3 years to actually play out. Maybe it takes a full decade. 19. However, tensions may decrease in the next 24 months, they will increase once more in the 24 months following. In 2026, that is. Peace does not relieve tensions, contrary to what most people think. Peace only promises that tension will not become war. And peace always gets broken just like a dam gets eroded down over time because it cannot sustain pressure indefinitely. 20. In order for us to achieve peace in this world, we have to solve the spiritual problem. Ecumenism and open dialogue will not solve the spiritual problem. Rhetoric does nothing if truth is not enforced by rhetoric. Rhetoric only serves truth. It is not the boss, it is not the truth. This is why we cannot lean on open dialogue. Open dialogue is no good if nothing is being transmitted through that dialogue. We have solution. The rising of great saints like Saint Francis of Assisi and other great saints, Xavier, Boniface, the guys who convert countries. 21. Yes, the church is the key to peace. But it can only do so if it stops dealing with geopolitical affairs and leaves that to the magnates, and tackles spiritual problems, engaging in exorcisms, expressing the orthodoxy like a good wine, and attracting holy people to holy orders. The more holy people we have in this world, the more evil will be repelled. We need stars to dispel the darkness. Stars are holy people, are saints. I am not a star, but I can help be a telescope to help people see beautiful stars. 22. So, you who listen to this report, my king, do not be complacent. We are still in deep spiritual problems or trouble. We need prayer nights. We need prayer warriors. We need people ascending to priesthood. We need more monks, more convents, more nuns, more monasteries. We need more holiness. 23. Lastly, we all need to be telescopes that point to the day star, Our Lady herself. She will stamp the head of the ancient serpent. Increase in your devotion to the saints and especially in your devotion to her. In her will the sun shine.